Hey guys, this is Danny Boy. So there is one weapon that I did not have the chance to test for my target practice series, the N7 Valkyrie. I do have it now. I had to, yeah, if you don't have it, if you pre-ordered the Digital Deluxe Edition or the Collector's Edition, you should have it. So if you don't, like I didn't, you have to email EA and you have to basically provide proof of purchase. I'd emailed them a couple of times. I had to attach proof that I actually pre-ordered the Digital Deluxe, which I did in the form of just the emails that showed that I'd bought it. After I did that, they eventually gave me the N7 Valkyrie and the Defender armor, the codes for them. But I also had to I had to email them to get my Argus code, my Raider code, the Valkyrie, Defender. The only thing that I actually had when the game shipped were the other N7 weapons. But anyway, the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is a battle rifle. It is very similar to the Vindicator. Main difference being the Valkyrie shoots out 2 shots, it has 2 barrels, rather than the Vindicator's 3. And to give you a comparison, it weighs a lot more, same capacity or so, same fire rate or so. It does a little bit more damage per shot, and I imagine, considering that the Vindicator shoots out 3 shots and the Valkyrie shoots out 2, it actually does quite a bit more damage per shot, per individual, bullet. And it's also more accurate. Alright. Oops. Here we go. We'll start out just firing from the hip, and then we'll use the sights, and then ultimately we will use a scope. Reloads very quickly. Okay. Yeah, I was a little low there, so just forgo that. It's very, very accurate at point-blank range, either from the hip, with the sights, basically the same. Let us continue on to short range. Hopefully I'll improve my aim. I actually just woke up, so I'm a little groggy, but we'll see if we can make this happen. Does have noticeable recoil when fired from the hip. Need to readjust your aim. So, from the hip versus with the sights, clearly far better to fire this weapon with the sights, especially for headshots. At short range, you can still get body shots with it, but I would not bother firing from the hip and going for headshots at short range, but otherwise the sights, it is all good. Let us move on to mid-range. Seeing a really noticeable spread at this point. I am aiming low to try to ensure that both bullets hit the head. Yeah, terrible from the hip at mid-range. Down the sight, so still solid. Definitely for body shots, even headshots are still solid. Let's continue on to long range. Firing like an old man. Okay. This is long range. From the hip is still awful. Down the sights is still solid though. Body shots and headshots, we got a good number of hits. 4 or so. Granted, that's only 2 bursts. We fired maybe 5 bursts, so most of them did miss. Still, I'd say it's doable. Try very long range. You can even see, just from the tracers, you're getting really noticeable spread at this point. Really wild spread. To the point that we're just totally missing the target with our second shot. Okay. Hip is awful. And sighted... Body shots are okay. Head, not great. We still did get a couple of shots on there, but we fired a lot of bursts, so that just that isn't fantastic. So it seems like from the hip, you really shouldn't bother at anything beyond short range, and you should really only go for headshots at point-blank range. Whereas when you throw in the sights, body shots are doable all the way up to very long range. Headshots are doable, I'd say, are still very solid at mid-range. Beyond that, you're still getting shots on target, but you're missing a lot of bullets. You're no longer very... efficient. I'll just throw in a scope. The scope at point blank range. Very solid. Even more solid than sighted, I would say. Very, very nice grouping. This does have, you know, it has like a vertical spread. It's mild, but it's there. That was actually a horizontal spread. That's kind of weird. Let's see. Maybe... I mean, it's there, it's just really slight, and the kick is gradually sending you up as well. Let's try short range. And I am pushing down to just realign my aim between each burst. Well, still very, very accurate with just a scope, without throwing in cover into the mix. I'll talk about cover a little bit later. Very solid at short range. Seems to benefit, noticeably. It's also just easier to aim, in my opinion. So still very, very solid at mid-range, and I'd still say an improvement over the sights. Let's try long range. Seeing some spread there. So, I would say an improvement over just the sights. Maybe not huge, but I'd say it's definitely there. It seems like the very first shot generally hits, and then maybe the second shot you're having trouble, where we're missing the head or we're missing the target entirely. First shot seems to be very accurate. I mean, you can even just kind of see from the tracers, I think. Let's see the damage. Good. That is definitely a huge improvement over just the sights. So the scope is much the same as the sights. It's just better, essentially. Still can get body shots all the way up to very long range. You can still get headshots all the way up to very long range, but you'll be getting more shots on target, especially for the head, when you throw in the scope, in my opinion. Now, none of this takes into consideration cover, and you know, both the Vindicator and I would assume the Valkyrie benefit greatly from firing it from behind cover. So I will demonstrate that with a live fire video, which I will be uploading immediately after this video. I have to say, though, at least from my experience using it in-game, I was kind of disappointed in the Valkyrie, just insofar as to, again, look at its stats compared to the Vindicator. It doesn't really do that much more damage, or is that much more accurate than the Vindicator, but it weighs a lot more, you know, double. It's really, really heavy. I feel like it shouldn't be as heavy as it actually is. Maybe that's just me. We'll see it more in my live fire series episode. Alright guys, thanks for watching, stay tuned for more, and have a good one.